Hmm. Hello, I'm Jashikins, and I do reviews. Film, books, fan fictions, TV shows. And hey, if you want to request us for me to review a show, say a TV show, you can. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, link in the description. If you are watching on my bloggity blog, link up above. And if you do request your own work, just beware I am not obligated to give you a good review. And for today's review, I'm going to be reviewing Eclipse, the third book in the Twilight series. This book continues to show how much Meyer doesn't understand romance, abusive behavior, and classic literature. I haven't read Wuthering Heights, and so I won't cover the topic. I was really thinking of covering how Eclipse misrepresents Wuthering Heights. But the thing is, I've never read it before, and unlike Romeo and Juliet from New Moon, I don't have these long standing fierce opinions. And so I feel if I just said stuff about Wuthering Heights and how poorly Meyer understands the book, it would just feel like I'm reading off a script and it's not actually me. Like I'm just doing a paint by numbers thing. So, but from my little bit of research, I can assure you that Meyer didn't get the point of the book at all. So, yeah. And if you have read both Eclipse and Wuthering Heights and would like to give me your opinions, please comment below. And I'm going to be giving away spoilers for Eclipse, so if you care about spoilers and are still hoping to read the book at some point, pause the video and, just read the book. And if you don't have a copy of your own book yet and you wish to help support me, if you are watching on the YouTubes, link in the description, and if you are watching on my blog, link down below, and both links will take you to where you can buy your own copy of Eclipse. Woot. So, yay! And if you don't care about spoilers, say you've already read the book or you just don't really give a shit, let's continue. Part 1, Jacob's change and bad traits of werewolves. In my New Moon review, I talked about how awesome the Twilight werewolves are. And I still hold true to that, but this being Twilight, there are a few problems. A few major problems that come to the forefront of this book. First off, I loved Jacob up until this book. I still like him, just not as much. It was as if Meyer wanted to convince readers not to like him and go fully on Team Edward. I can't get behind an abuser, so changing Jacob's character did nothing for me. At one point, Jacob sexually assaults Bella, and the incident is treated as nothing. Oh, he kissed you without your consent and wouldn't let you break contact? Hey, that's nothing. Even Charlie, Bella's father, doesn't think anything of the incident and laughs about it. I actually had to, like, just text a friend when I got to the scene because it's just basically blown over, like you're just supposed to, I don't know, fucking laugh at it. It was like, what the fuck did I just read? Meyer seems to really, really, really like abusive relationships. This is shown in the relationship between Emily and Sam. In the last review, I didn't mention the whole backstory as it wasn't shown in New Moon. I like to talk about big incidents when they happen and not before. Because, I'm reviewing a whole series, so you don't really want to run out of things to talk about. Anyways, in Eclipse, the full story between Emily and Sam is told. Okay, now we're going to start talking about something really juicy here. God. Imprinting in the Twilight series is when a werewolf finds their soulmate. It can be a sexual or non-sexual relationship, but it is heavily implied to be both sexual and romantic. Werewolves are unable to resist imprinting when it happens. It's extremely dark and would have been great if handled better. Instead of, just shrugging the darker aspects off. Anyways, Sam was with, and I'm going to probably be fucking up the name. Sam was with Lee before becoming a werewolf. Upon meeting Emily, her cousin, he imprinted on the woman. For a while, Emily was pushing Sam to stay loyal to Lee. Now, if imprinting truly meant a werewolf would become whatever their soulmate desired, friend, lover, etc., Sam would have just agreed to fucking back off. However, that didn't happen. At one point, he transformed into a werewolf and physically assaulted Emily. After that, Emily fell in love and agreed to become romantically involved with him. Just, just what the fuck? Just, fuck. Meyer really loves those abusive relationships. Fuck. Oh, also about the creepiness of imprinting. Quill is in love with a 2-year-old, but it's not romantic. Yet he has no interest in other girls. Just, abusiveness, pedophilia, grooming. If imprinting were handled correctly, everything wrong with it would be pointed out and dealt with. It wouldn't be treated as no big deal. Yeah, I thought I was going to leave the whole imprinting thing off until the Breaking Dawn review. But then, yeah. God. It's hard. I'm sort of sick still. I'm taking some medication and antibiotics, and for some fucking reason, my tonsils have started irritating me again. And yes, people, I do still have my tonsils. Now to part 2 of the Eclipse review. Edward's continuing abusive behavior. Meyer tries to paint Edward as the guy every girl should want, as the epitome of romance and sex appeal. his sex appeal is honestly ruined by how much time is spent explaining how sexy Edward is. There's also the fact that Bella fainting and losing her breath whenever he kisses her is just it's just too much. When writing, you need to be aware that words can make or break an important element in your story. So, in other words, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Ruining both his sex appeal and any chance I'll think he's romantic is the fact that he is extremely abusive. This series romanticizes an abusive relationship. In Eclipse, he ups the ante of abusiveness by making it near impossible for Bella to see Jacob. Jacob was very supportive when Edward up and left. Of course, she wants to make sure that their bonds of friendship are still there. Yet Edward goes to extreme measures to keep Bella away from Jacob for her safety. I guess someone wasn't there for the beginning of New Moon. Edward even gets Alice via a bribe to kidnap Bella while he is out hunting. The fact that Alice is swayed like that and Bella ends up being okay with the kidnapping it's highly disturbing. There's clear signs of abuse, and yet no one but Jacob points it out. And when Jacob does, Bella gets angry. Bella ends up having to sneak away from Alice to go see Jacob. It is such a terrifying scene, and because of the poor writing, it never ends up having the impact it should have. I mean, it's really, really fucking tense. At one point, Jacob mentions to Bella about watching something about teenage abusive relationships. This is the point where Meyer should have countered any arguments against Bella Edward. This is where she should have explained to the readers about her point of view. Instead, Bella gets angry again and ignores the comment. Then, all of a sudden, Edward is fine with Bella seeing Jacob. Abusers will be mean, but also kind. They'll be kind enough to a point you'll feel fine with them, but the mean streak will come out again sooner or later. Edward must have read Jacob's mind and knew that his chances of losing his prey are certain if he doesn't give in to Bella's desire to see Jacob. He wasn't having a change of heart. He was manipulating Bella. And that's the end of part 2. And let me drink again a little. Yeah. Yeah. Go. Okay, no one's in the chat here. So let's continue. Part 3. Lee is actually more awesome and strong than the books let on. Leah, I'm just going to start pronouncing it Leah. Fuck it, please correct me. I'm sorry, I read the books, and God, I think I actually always have a hard time pronouncing this name anyways, actually. So, Leah Clearwater is the only female werewolf in the pack and seems to be targeted by the other werewolves. She brings up the whole, what is Embry's real parentage? This due to the fact that the werewolf gene is genetic. That means Embry's mother must have cheated. This doesn't seem a cruel thing to do, but rather a much needed truth everyone needs to figure out. Sometimes you can't just bury things under the rug. I mean, since, the werewolf gene, genetic, will there be any more werewolves that they're not coming from places they're not aware of? Leah is also bitter over Sam abusing Emily. I don't think Leah was so mad about Sam just leaving her, but how far he went until Emily said yes. If I had such a cruel way to torment an abuser for the rest of his life, I would. She wouldn't constantly remind the pack of her having been with Sam before unless it was more serious than a broken heart. She would want vengeance for her cousin being maimed and scared into a relationship. I think that Leah didn't do anything foolish near the end of the book. I think that Jacob's ego got the better of him and he ended up injuring himself because of that. If he only let Leah do her job, he wouldn't have been so badly injured. But, of course, Leah is made to look like the foolish one and she is the scapegoat. The thoughts Edward hears from the pack are mostly male, and so he would dismiss any defense Leah would make. In the epilogue, we get to hear from Jacob's point of view. It really seemed like Leah was trying to shove it into Jacob's head that he needed to get over Bella, that he had to let her go. Leah and Jacob are both in the same boat with having the ones they loved leave them. Both are causing problems in the pack with their more moaning over lost love. Jacob having the more serious broken heart. I really wish both Leah and Jacob ended up together. Them being in a relationship would have allowed both of their hearts to heal and form a unity in the pack once again. Instead, Jacob ends up with, we'll get to that next book. God, yeah. Fucking would have loved Jacob and Leah getting together. God damn. Do you think that, Jacob and Leah would make a fucking great couple? Yes, no? Please comment below. Okay. Part 4. Rosalie's awesome backstory. I have been waiting for a while to talk about Rosalie's backstory. Meyer has the problem of writing side characters who are much more interesting than the main cast. In this case, Rosalie's backstory seems to serve as a warning to Bella, as if Rosalie knows how abusive Edward is. The basics of Rosalie's most awesome backstory is that she was rich. She was set to marry a rich man and fulfill what she thought was her lot in life. She was extremely happy about her lot in life, by the way. She was jealous of her best friend, Vera. She also knows that Vera's husband was more loving than her own fiancé. One night, Rosalie was walking at night and was raped by her fiancé and his friends. Since it is a young adult book, the rape wasn't shown in detail, but enough hints were there to, explain the scene. After Carlisle transformed her into a vampire, Rosalie went back and killed all of her rapists. She even wore her wedding dress while doing so. Now that is a book I want to read. Holy shit, fucking love Rosalie's backstory. I would fucking love like a novella talking about her backstory. Fucking awesome. But while her story is awesome, it also shows a lack of basic researching. Rosalie's story takes place in the Great Depression. She is rich, and yet her father is a banker. Just, yeah. So I pointed that out for anyone who was going to comment about, yeah, that. Okay, going to drink some more. No viewers. Yay. Okay. And finally, Part 5, Twilight Headcanons in Book 3. And yeah, I've moved the Twilight Headcanons to the last part of the review, just so, I talk about the book first, and then, my crazy fan theories last. So, let's get started here. The Cullen cult has the goal of overthrowing the Volturi and replacing it. In this chapter, goddamn. Yeah, I had a little bit of a fever when I was writing this, so I think there's a little more typos. In this book, the Volturi and the Cullens end up encountering each other again. The Cullens are able to show the Volturi their strength. They were able to easily take down a bunch of newborns, though I hardly think that the Volturi were unaware of the involvement of the werewolves. They were waiting, and so were also watching. The Cullens have shown themselves to be able to form alliances with those who should be foes. This would worry the fuck out of the Volturi. Edward's possessive and abusive nature is a symptom of his madness brought on by trying to resist Esme so many years ago. He wants Bella to choose not to be a pawn of the game that she's in, to escape the torment he is trapped in. Yet he can't fully let her go because of the pull of Esme that he can't escape. The reason it takes the entire book to figure out that Victoria is the big bad is due to members of the Cullen cult resisting Esme's pull. There is an attempt to break the vicious prison, and it doesn't succeed. Yet the fact it takes nearly all of Eclipse to figure out about Victoria shows that an extremely good attempt had been made. I'm going to learn how to speak words again one of these days. Jacob might not have had as big of a change as it might seem. The series is told through Bella's point of view, mainly. When Jacob kissed her the first time, she heavily enjoyed it, but her conscious mind wouldn't let her know that. Esme's pull made her believe it was a sexual assault so that she would continue to be in a relationship with Edward. We also can't trust the majority of what Edward says, and so anytime Jacob isn't speaking, we can assume the sparkly vampire to be lying. Charlie is trying to resist the future that is planned out for Bella. Even though Alice has assured him that Bella becoming a vampire would mean the entire end of the species, or at least a rebirth, he worries for his daughter. By the end of the book, though, he has fully accepted Bella's destiny. Rosalie tells her story in an attempt to warn Bella of how dangerous Edward and the Cullens are. That being with Edward and becoming a vampire seems like a dream, but that is far from the truth. She is warning Bella that if she starts down this road, that she'll have as sad a tale as Rosalie does. So yeah, that's my review of Eclipse. And if uh, for some reason you watched this review without reading the book, and now you may want to, and now you want to check out the book, if you are watching on the YouTubes, link in the description. If you are watching this on my bloggity blog, link down below. And both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. I'm sorry about any lack of fun showing today, but yeah, there's chaos going on around the house. Really long story short. And then I'm not feeling well. I've been napping a good majority of the day. Just, yeah. So sorry about that. And if you are wondering, what book will I review next? Hang on. Damn it, I think I revealed it there in the corner there. Damn it. Okay, let's be a little sneaky. Okay, showed a little bit. I think I've already accidentally revealed it, but I'm gonna try for this. Okay, the next book I will. Hang on. Oh fuck, that hurt. Okay, let's. Okay, no, don't sneeze for like a few minutes until once the video ends, you can start sneezing again. Okay, good. The next book I will review will be Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. This is the final Twilight book in the main series. Yeah. Ooh. And this is honestly my favorite book in the Twilight series. Because if you thought in Twilight, New Moon, and Eclipse that things are really fucking weird, damn, that's so weird. That's insane. You ain't seen nothing until you read Breaking Dawn. Okay, and well, that is the next review I will get out. The next video that I will be putting out on this channel will be more of my dramatic reading of A Marriage of Convenience. So that will happen Friday. So next video will be more of my dramatic reading of A Marriage of Convenience, and it will come out Friday.